Thomas Green's 12-hour workday had left him exhausted as he crawled through Dallas traffic, dreaming only of his garage, his couch, and silence. When the garage door finally creaked open, he froze. A spotless white SUV sat angled in his space, like it owned the place. The vanity plate read HOAPWR, and Thomas's stomach turned. Everyone on Willow Bend Drive knew that plate belonged to Patricia Vaughn, the sharp-tongued, clipboard-wielding woman who ran their HOA meetings like a personal kingdom. "Patricia," Thomas said, his voice low and controlled as she strolled up his driveway in her bright floral blouse. "What is your car doing in my garage?" She tilted her head without a hint of shame. "I just needed the space for a few minutes. The landscapers are blocking my driveway again, and I couldn't be late for a Zoom call with the board. You don't mind, do you?" Thomas let out a short, humorless laugh. "You parked inside my garage, not my driveway." "My garage. Do you understand how insane that sounds?" Patricia waved dismissively. "Don't exaggerate. It's just for a moment. I knew you wouldn't care. You're always reasonable at the meetings." Thomas stepped closer, his voice firm. "My garage isn't a community park. It's my property. You crossed the line." For the first time, Patricia's smile faltered before snapping back. "Now let's not use ugly words like trespassing. We're neighbors. The HOA encourages us to share resources." Thomas pulled out his phone, tapped the app connected to his garage system, and with one calm press, the heavy door began sliding down. The grinding motor echoed like a verdict. "Wait, what are you doing?" Patricia demanded. Thomas didn't break eye contact as the door sealed her SUV inside. "I'm making sure your little few minutes stay right where they belong. Off my property." Her jaw dropped. "You can't do that." "Watch me," he said, slipping the phone back into his pocket. The garage door thudded shut, leaving Patricia gaping in the driveway. The exchange was loud enough to draw neighbors. Janice Fuller, a retired nurse, stepped onto her porch. "Patricia, what's going on?" Patricia waved frantically. "Janice, he's got my car trapped in his garage. Can you believe this?" Janice leaned on her railing, unimpressed. What was it doing in there to begin with? More neighbors began drifting out, sensing something worth watching. The Murphys, the young couple with twins, even Robert Martinez, who rarely left his garage workshop, wandered out. "Everyone, let's not blow this out of proportion." Patricia tried to recover. "I've always looked out for this neighborhood. You all know that. This is unnecessary hostility." Thomas lowered his voice so everyone could hear. "Hostility is forcing yourself into someone else's home and acting like it's your right. Don't spin this back on me." The way he said it, measured and unflinching, made Patricia falter again. She turned to the growing audience, her voice pitching louder. "This is harassment. He's harassing me." Janice barked a short laugh. "Harassment? Patricia, you're the one who broke into his garage. Don't start twisting words." Robert crossed his arms. "I'd like to know how you even got inside. That garage has a keypad, doesn't it?" Every head turned toward Patricia. She flushed, stammering. "Oh, I might have seen him type it in once." "That's not the point, but it is the point," Thomas said. "So not only did you trespass, but you admitted to using a code you had no right to know." "Patricia, do you realize what kind of line you crossed?" The tension thickened. Patricia, once the queen of the HOA, was standing on the defensive for the first time anyone could remember. "You can't do this. You can't lock me out of my own vehicle." Thomas spoke evenly. "Patricia, I didn't lock you out. You did that the moment you thought my property was yours to use. Now you're going to face the consequences." Patricia's face tightened. She turned on her heel, pacing. "You have no idea who you're messing with. I've given this neighborhood structure. Without me, this block would look like a junkyard." Thomas didn't flinch. "Patricia, no one's asking you to play sheriff. You want to run the HOA, fine. But this isn't your HOA playground. This is my home." Janice spoke up again. "Patricia, you can't lecture us about rules when you just broke the biggest one. Respect your neighbor's property." The laughter from the group was louder. Patricia's breathing quickened. "Stole. I didn't steal anything. I borrowed an opportunity." "Borrowed." Thomas shook his head. "Patricia, people borrow cups of sugar. They don't borrow someone's garage." The crowd doubled. What began as curious glances had swelled into a semicircle of neighbors. Patricia's voice cut through sharp and shrill. "Everyone here needs to understand. This is harassment. I've been serving this neighborhood for years." Sophia Reynolds, balancing her toddler, raised an eyebrow. "With all due respect, Patricia, nobody forced you to park in Thomas's garage. You did that yourself." The shift was undeniable. People were remembering every petty letter, every fine slipped under doors. Robert stepped forward. "Look, I've been here 15 years. I've watched Patricia hand out violations like candy. She'll even fine me for working on my car in my own driveway." Sophia chimed in. "She tried to fine us for chalk drawings. My kids were 5. Listen to yourselves." Patricia cried. "I've been protecting this neighborhood." Thomas raised his voice steady and clear. Protecting the neighborhood doesn't mean bullying the people who live in it. You've been harassing everyone here for years. Tonight you just pushed it too far. The wail of sirens drew closer. A Dallas police cruiser rolled down Willow Bend Drive, stopping in front of Thomas's house. Two officers stepped out. "Evening, folks," Officer Lewis said. "Got a call about a vehicle dispute." Patricia jumped in. "Yes, officer, this man has locked my car in his garage and is refusing to release it." The officers exchanged a glance. Officer Moore pulled out a notepad. "Okay, ma'am, how exactly did your car end up inside his garage?" Patricia hesitated. "I parked it there temporarily because my driveway was blocked." Thomas spoke evenly. "Officers, she didn't just park it. She used my garage code without permission. When I confronted her, she acted like it was no big deal, so I shut the door." Officer Lewis turned to Patricia. "Ma'am, is that true? Did you enter his garage without permission?" Her silence was answer enough. "Ma'am," Officer Lewis said, "entering another person's property without permission is trespassing. If he used his garage code, that's unauthorized entry." Patricia's face went pale. "Trespassing? No, it wasn't like that. I was just trying to solve a problem quickly." Officer Moore looked at Thomas. "Sir, do you want to press charges?" Thomas studied Patricia for a long moment. "I haven't decided yet, but what I do know is this. I'm not lifting that garage door until she admits what she did. Right here, in front of everyone." The officers nodded. "Ma'am, an apology could go a long way here." Finally, Patricia whispered, "I'm sorry." Thomas shook his head, louder for everyone to hear. Her eyes burned, but she forced the words out. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have parked in your garage. I shouldn't have used your code." The crowd erupted in applause, not because they admired her apology, but because they'd finally seen the queen of the HOA bow her head. Thomas turned to the officers. "That's all I wanted. Accountability." He pulled out his phone and tapped the garage app. The door lifted slowly, revealing the white SUV. Patricia rushed forward, fumbling with her keys, but Robert spoke up. "Wait, we need to talk about what this means for all of us." A chorus of agreement rose. "If we let her walk away, she'll spin this tomorrow," Janice said. Thomas looked around at the unified neighbors. If everyone feels the same way, then maybe it's time to hold a meeting. Not one of Patricia's meetings, but a real meeting. Right now, the crowd erupted in agreement. Patricia's face twisted. This isn't happening. Finally, Patricia yanked open her SUV door and started the engine. Before she reversed out, Thomas stepped closer. "You can leave tonight, Patricia, but when you come back tomorrow, this street won't be the same. The days of you controlling people are over." She backed out slowly as neighbors parted to let her pass. As the street remained alive with chatter, neighbors trading stories and planning what would come next, Thomas stood near his truck. For once, it wasn't about fines or bylaws. It was about people reclaiming their voice. The lesson was simple but powerful. Boundaries matter. Respect matters. And when someone crosses those lines, standing up can ripple outward and change everything. Sometimes all it takes is standing firm, saying no more, and letting the truth speak louder than their pride.